In this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about accents as quickly as I can. Thanks so much to everybody who liked that first quick tips video on staccato that was 2 weeks ago, and thanks to the people who recommended future things to cover. Accents, which we'll be covering in this video, is one of those things that was recommended. So keep the recommendations coming in the comments, and I'm really excited to make videos about things that you guys are interested in. So just like every other articulation, accents are just a particular note shape. So every note has a beginning to it, and we usually like the beginning to be really immediate and really clear. We don't want a beginning to the note to be something like this. This is sort of like the ha, where it's not a really clear beginning. We always want a clear beginning, and that's why we start notes with our tongue. For an accent, what makes it special is the way the beginning is related to the middle of the note. So in a traditional note, this is sort of like a legato note. It's just a clear beginning, a nice sustain, and then there's an ending. And usually if you want a really nice end going into a rest, then you do a little bit of a taper at the end, so there's a nice release to it. Now, an accent is different from this sort of normal legato note in that the sustain of the note is actually softer than the beginning. So we start with a good, strong beginning, and then there's a very quick taper so that there isn't much sustain to the note. So we have a strong beginning and then a weaker sustain, and that gives the illusion sort of that there's a very accented beginning and a very strong beginning. We have beginning, sustain, accent, accent, accent. So the beginning is very strong, and then the sustain is softer, and then there's a nice taper to it as well. The whole point of an accent is to emphasize this beginning. So typically in relation to if there was like a legato note before it, this legato note would be a little bit softer than the beginning of the accent, and then the sustain of the accent would be even softer. So we have legato, legato, accent, legato, legato, accent. So normal sustained notes, and then a little bit more emphasized beginning of the note followed by a quick decay. Now there are a few different kinds of accents that you might come across in your music. This is the most standard one, which I just described, where it's a strong beginning and then decay. The one with the little tenuto under it means that there might be a little bit longer sustain before it starts to decay. With a staccato means it's like the first one, but it's just all compressed a little bit, and there's more space before the next one, because a staccato means space in between the notes, right? And then this one's sort of the marcato, carrot, housetop accent, is the same sort of strong beginning with a quick taper, but it's also a little bit clipped, so there's a very precise ending to the note too. So it's not a nice, clean, tapered ending, it's a very sort of abrupt, strong ending as well. But still the ending and the middle is softer than the beginning, because the accents always mean that the beginning is the absolute strongest part of the note. So I'm going to demonstrate how to play some of these, and I'm going to do 4 of each and then move on to the next one. But really quick, just talking about how to play accents. The tongue motion is exactly the same. It's just like what I talked about on the staccato quick tips video, that you want to have the tongue motion be really relaxed and is just releasing the note. And all of this note shape is all up to the air. So the tongue is a simple, easy motion as always, and keeps directing the air, and you adjust your air pressure to get these different shapes to the note. So here's the normal accent. You can hear a strong beginning, quick decay. Here's the tenuto accent. Still, the strongest part of the note is the beginning, but there's a good healthy sustain before a quick decay. Now the staccato accent. And then finally the marcato accent. And remember, for every single one of these, I'm thinking about the beginning of the note being very strong, and the tongue motion is still easy and relaxed. It's the air pressure behind it that makes that strong beginning. And the final thing to think about with accents is it can vary a lot from composer to composer and different styles. For example, Granger will put accents over notes, but he just means that that's a melody part and an important part that should be brought out sometimes. Whereas an accent in classical music or even Beethoven, early Romantic, might be a more gentle accent, sort of just an arrival of the phrase, whereas an accent in Stravinsky might be a very aggressive and very dry kind of accent. So always be thinking about the context of the music that the accent is happening in, but remember that an accent, just like any other articulation, is just a note shape, and what makes an accent special is that the beginning of the note is a little bit more emphasized than the normal notes around it, and more emphasized than the sustain of the note, which has a bit of decay, before the nice normal taper that we like to end notes with. And that's it. I think that's about everything that you'll ever need to know about accents in about as quick of time as I could possibly do. And if you liked it, be sure to share it with other people so everybody can have a great understanding of how accents work. And finally, if you liked this sort of style video where I had the whiteboard and could show some written examples, and you're watching this video in November or early December of 2019, then I have something super exciting for you. I'm actually doing a completely free, very in-depth training where I have the whiteboard and put up a lot of examples, and there's a really awesome action guide that goes along with it that you can print out to write everything down and follow along. It's a training on what I call are the most important fundamentals of playing the clarinet. So if you've been on this channel for a while, you're probably familiar with my how to play clarinet triangle, and this training is going very in depth on all of those things and sort of giving you a guide and a framework to really solve any of your problems with clarinet playing and get your fundamentals down so well that you're able to have a ton of fun playing any of the music that you're working on. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, head over to quickstartclarinet.com/training and you'll be able to see all of those videos. If you aren't watching this at the end of 2019 and maybe you're watching this in the future, maybe check out that page because I might be running different trainings or other trainings. If not, there won't be anything there for you, I'm sorry. But there will be new videos every Saturday here on the Quick Start Clarinet YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to get all of those. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck on practicing and learning your accents, and I'll see you in another video.